Welcome to Moms for Justice. I'm Carolyn, and this is my gorgeous co-host and best friend, Jocelyn.
Hello, good morning, beautiful.
Good morning.
Oh, good evening.
I was going to say, what time of day is it for you? Oh, boy.
It's late.
How's everybody doing out there? Today was
good.
Today
Good.
was quite the day. I want to apologize in advance. I've kind of got the sniffles, and I've got a bad cold. So, what, you got a gnat over there?
I do. I was like, shit.
Girl. Shoot. Be nice. All right. Anyway, guys, today, Donna Adelson. All right. So real quick, for anybody who doesn't know, Donna Adelson is the mother of Charlie and Wendy Adelson, and also the mother-in-law of Dan Markel, law professor who was murdered in 2014 in Tallahassee, Florida. Donna, along with her family, has been linked to the plot surrounding the Markel's death, which involved a custody dispute between Wendy and Dan, who were married. And she was scheduled to have her trial this week. Pardon me. Anyway,
we were so excited too. Oh my God.
Right. Like every week we've been talking about the fact that this trial's coming up, and we knew jury selection was scheduled for today, but some crazy stuff went down, and we're going to talk about that. And I hope that we can get some opinions and comments out there. Maybe hold those for like a few minutes just so we go through some of what happened today. So anyway, like I said, the trial was supposed to start today, and the whole process went to crap. So it's important to know Charlie was represented by Daniel Rashbaum, and he was also the fourth person to be found guilty of the murder of Dan Markel. Charlie is Donna's son. He is currently appealing his guilty conviction. Now, Donna, his mother, is on trial and also chose the same attorney, Daniel Rashbaum. Okay, so that's
But
important.
at first I didn't think that was so weird, because who knows the case better, right? But I understand now why it shouldn't be.
I've been saying all along that there is something wrong with that. And I know that Judge Everett had made a point or two, but you know what? I don't think I understand now why, because she is entitled to choose who she wants. You're allowed to choose the attorney that you want. But he did make comments early on. That's a
Rashbaum or the judge?
The judge. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he can't say you can't use who you want, but he did give out red flags. You know what I mean? So anyway, all right. So well in advance, we were seeing that Charlie was on the witness list, and Charlie received a subpoena by the state to testify in his mother's trial. And we became, go ahead, what?
Against her. Just want to clarify, he was supposed to testify against her, right?
He's a state witness. I don't know if he would say that he was going against her, but it was a state witness.
Right.
But we became aware only on Monday, just Monday, one day before the trial, that his appellate attorney filed a motion that Charlie does not want to waive his attorney-client privilege. And what does that mean? Well, it means that Daniel Rashbaum cannot cross-examine Charlie. It's a conflict of interest, right?
Right.
Okay. So
do you think it was a technique? Was that like a lawyer's way of
well, that's something I want to explore, but not quite yet. But ethics prevent him from being able to question Charlie, on behalf of Donna, because he has an obligation.
On the grounds of?
Well, because he has an obligation unless he waives that right, which as of early this morning, he said he was not going to waive it. So that was as walking into the courtroom at 8 a.m., we knew from yesterday that he was not going to waive it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play.
Right. But it was for the grounds of attorney privilege, right? What was the thing that you said? It wasn't he did not waive his right for attorney
client attorney privilege, right?
Right.
So he would not.
So if he did waive it, that means Rashbaum can ask him any questions, and right.
But I found out in December he tried to get that on paper signed by Charlie, and he wouldn't sign it then. So that we only found that out today. But here's the thing: whether he signed it or not, it doesn't really matter, because anyone can change their mind, even up to the final moment.
Okay.
But
so maybe that's what he was banking on. And honestly, Rashbaum knew about it. It wasn't like it's anything new. He was against it this whole time.
Oh yeah, he so knew about it. And it's like, and everybody has been saying this, like, isn't that a conflict of interest? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hello, Barb's.
Oh, I don't see that. Oh, there she is.
Stone Cold Mark. Jury got Charlie's trial wrong. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the first hearing that they had this morning at around 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Florida. No, I think it was 9 o'clock Florida
Eastern time, right?
Eastern time, right.
Eastern. Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go, guys.
You can stand at the lectern if you wish.
For the record, Laurel Niles, on behalf of state witness Charlie Adelson.
All other counsel of record can make their appearances.
This is the
point.
appellate attorney.
Georgia Kappelman for the state.
Alex Morris.
That's standing.
On behalf of Mrs. Adelson.
Oh, I was going to say, isn't that Georgia? Okay.
No, Georgia's sitting.
Oh, there she is.
So, how was everyone's evening last night?
Got a lot of sleep, Your Honor. How about you?
Slept like a baby.
That's Sarah
I
Dugan.
went to
Let's
bed.
start with
I went to bed at
the notice of
8:30 last
invoking
night, by the
rights
way,
and
early.
non-waiver of conflict of interest by Mr. Adelson. Do you have anything to argue beyond what's in the pleading?
Your Honor, I'm not here to advocate for a position for the court to do something in this case. The only thing I intended to do with my filing is to invoke Mr. Adelson's rights to put the parties in the court on notice that he does intend to invoke.
Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Right. Ms. Kappelman, does the state have a position that it wishes to raise concerning the notice or the filing?
My only position, Judge, is that this issue has been waived. Your Honor did an inquiry, which was thorough, covered the issue, and
As to Mrs. Adelson,
yes, sir.
concerning Charlie Adelson, I believe, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the only way Mr. Rauschbaum's representation could occur is if both ends of the conflict were waiving. I don't believe Mr. Adelson ever took an affirmative position one way or another.
My understanding was he did, but I guess that position is changing, so I don't know. I have to defer to Your Honor on that.
Does the state
Interesting.
intend to call Charles Adelson as a part of its case in chief?
No, he would be a rebuttal witness at this point. Now, that could also change too.
Oh,
but
so
as
he's
of this
only as a
moment,
rebuttal
he's
witness.
Ms. Niles, is there a reason that
Okay.
your client waited until yesterday?
Okay, so I did hear today that what they're saying here is he's a state witness, but when he asked about calling him up, she also said he could be a rebuttal witness. And the reason why is because they don't know.
Also or only?
It could be.
I think she said.
It could be also, but right now, because she knows he's not waiving it, she's basically saying, okay, I don't need to call him as a state witness, but I would definitely, possibly need to call him as a rebuttal witness. And the reason that would be is because what if the opening statements for Donna has a completely different story from the extortion? Then she would have to prove that that is wrong and put Charlie on there and say, hey, you know, because Charlie had the whole extortion story with him and Donna.
Right, right.
So she
I
would
would assume they go through.
Right. So in that case, he would be a rebuttal witness.
Okay.
Okay.
Yesterday to assert his invocation of this right and non-waiver.
Your Honor, I think the critical question is when the conflict arose. So,
Oh, the conflict has been there. The conflict is clear on its
Yes.
face. It's clear as
Yeah, he's saying that because he's been saying all along that this has been a conflict.
my nose.
Right.
Is there a reason your client did not assert this until yesterday?
Your Honor, my understanding is that my client has not waived at any point. And so asserting it yesterday was merely putting the parties on notice of that non-waiver. I mean, the fact that he's listed in discovery as a Category A witness does not mean that the state was going to call him as a witness at trial. I think the conflict arose when my office received a subpoena for his trial testimony, which was last week on September 11th, and then he was transported to the jail on September 13th. Mr. Efferman was able to meet with him at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 14th, And then at that point, without revealing any confidential communications with our client, we became aware that all the parties needed to be on notice that there was no waiver and that he does intend to invoke his rights. And so our notice was filed the next business day, Monday morning. It was later in the morning, but we were trying to get it done. We were a non-party, so we were having some trouble figuring out how to get it filed, but we drafted it and alerted the parties and the court as soon as we knew that this was an imminent issue, that his rights were imminently, potentially going to be violated. Now,
You're fine, Mark. You have a right to your
It
opinion.
would be violated until he takes the witness stand, and at that point, either his former counsel attempts to cross-examine him, or another member of the defense team attempts to cross-examine him, or they advance an interest that is materially adverse to his interest. So I think the potential for conflict was always there, but the conflict arose. It's going to arise on the witness stand. It has not quite yet arisen, but the potential for conflict.
It's simmering, not boiling.
Yes, Your Honor, it's burgeoning.
Mr. Boris.
What did she call it?
Burgeoning?
Oh, burgeoning. Oh, yeah, burgeoning, yeah.
Judge,
Alex
when
Morris.
I came into the case, at the inception of the case, obviously I was aware of the fact that Mr. Ashbaum had represented Mr. Adelson. I was aware of the conflict, whether it's arisen or not. My view of it is that it's always been there and been present. As a result of that, I have been walled off from everything as it relates to any discovery from that prior case, any notes. I've not had any conversations with Mr. Ashbaum about Mr. Adelson's evidence or property. The first instance that I met Mr. Adelson was this past weekend on Saturday with Mr.
Notice
Upperman.
that Rashbun is not talking.
Mr. Adelson
He's got
queried
Alex
whether or
doing
not
all the
I'd seen
talking.
his phone. I said,
Okay.
no. But we planned for this exact circumstance, and the idea was that I was going to conduct any cross-examination if Mr. Adelson were to testify.
Oh, can they do that?
Mr. Ufferman's
Interesting.
motion argues to impute the conflict absent a showing, a good faith showing of an ethical wall. I think that we've done that, but of course, as I mentioned in my response, we plan in the alternative if we're forced in that direction of securing alternate counsel.
When was the third-party counsel retained?
Candidly, there's been no retention in terms of money from Mrs. Adelson to that lawyer. That's prepared to happen. We wanted to see Your Honor's ruling. But the answer is I spoke with the attorney yesterday.
I don't think he's happy about that,
To
the
confirm,
judge.
just as I mentioned in the response,
Why do you say that?
availability.
Because he should have
and
retained
absence of
third party
conflict
to
for that
counsel
lawyer.
her since there's a conflict.
All right. I've gone through, I believe, at least 2 Lazar inquiries with your client, specifically as to this conflict that exists between his former client, Mr. Adelson, and his current client, Mrs. Adelson. Is there a reason the defense did not bring before the court that you were pursuing third-party counsel, or there was, in fact, no waiver from Charles Adelson?
Let me back up and provide the court some information then. So there was, in fact, a waiver with Mr. Rashbaum. Mr. Rashbaum consulted
Verbal or written?
Verbal.
both.
No.
There was a third-party lawyer, Mr. Moses, who was hired as third-party counsel out of South Florida to consult with Mr. Adelson independently outside of Mr. Rashbaum's presence. And as it relates to the waiver, my understanding is that the waiver was agreed to. I believe it's going to be verbal, Judge.
Yeah,
since it's
verbal.
not in writing. The written portion of it is the lawyer who consulted with Mr. Adelson.
Yeah, and he never signed it.
That
Never
was
signed
because
anything.
of security issues is the way that was dealt with. It was post-conviction. The Department of Corrections housed Mr. Adelson closely managed, and as a result, there was an inability to get to him in a face-to-face conversation. So the waiver issue did occur, and then retention of third-party counsel, we had never believed it to be an issue because of the game plan as it relates to me handling cross-examination and being walled off. And not until the issue that Mr. Ufferman raised did we make that move.
See, it sounds like it's still going to go through, though.
The
It does,
walling off
you're
has
not
been
sure at this
sufficient.
point, no.
Why should Mr. Rashbaum's representation not be terminated at this point?
The motion that Mr. Elferman has filed is a conflict as it relates to cross-examination. Mr. Adelson, as I understand it, his objection is not to Mr. Rashbaum's continued representation of Ms. Adelson.
Well, your client has a right to effective representation at every single critical stage. I'm also not going to allow any issues basically to get backdoored should there need to be an appeal.
Never came to my mind.
I doubt that.
Is there any dispute that
No
Mr.
offense.
Rashbaum does not meet the elements of Colker?
I don't believe so, Judge, no.
A substantially related representation and a client that is now asserting a non-waiver of a conflict?
Well, also from a practical perspective, this is, as the court mentioned, this has been a known circumstance from the inception. And
It has.
but I think that that cuts both ways in the sense that, and I don't quarrel with the general concept that these circumstances ought to be avoided, and it doesn't create these circumstances. Beyond that, though, there's not been an assertion of this, and of course, Mr. Adelson's entitled to change his mind whenever he wants. He can change his mind 3 hours from
is
now,
true.
I suppose.
You can change
I
it
will
1
take
minute
Mrs.
up
Niles'
to that.
presence as proof he's changed his mind.
Yes, sir, understood. But I don't think that, my understanding from Mr. Ufferman in discussion was that the conflict was strictly limited to Mr. Adelson not wanting Mr. Rashbaum, or potentially by extension myself, to cross-examine. And that was the limit of the conflict, is my understanding.
Ms. Niles, do you need to clarify anything?
I do need to clarify that, Your Honor. Our first filing yesterday, the notice, did frame the issue in terms of concern about potential sharing of information on the defense team, right? Mr. Adelson was not waiving his privileged communications with Mr. Rashbaum. But after we read the response from counsel, I think it became clear, based on our reading of the rules regulating the Florida bar, that it would not be enough to bring in a third party, or it would not be enough to have a walled-off attorney conduct the cross-examination. And that's because I read Rule 4-1.9A to control on that issue. So Rule 4-1.9B says you can't use information gleaned from the representation to the disadvantage of a former client, but A says you cannot advance an interest that is materially adverse to a former client in the same or substantially related matter. So whether we have another attorney come in and do that cross-examination, and I absolutely trust Mr. Morris, and I'm not challenging his veracity when he says he was walled off from this issue, but I don't think it solves the problem, because whether we have another lawyer actually conduct the cross-examination doesn't solve the issue of A under that rule. In the case cited in Mr. Adelson's notice called Colker that Your Honor just referenced, also addresses this exact issue and says having a third party conduct the cross doesn't resolve the conflict, because it's the relationship that forms the basis of the conflict, not just the information. So it would be our position that
it's hard for me to understand. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but
against
Right.
Mr. Adelson, because Mr. Adelson is now going to be a witness for the state of Florida, that is a problem under the rules regulating the Florida bar and Florida case law.
plus he's under appeal. So
Well,
Right.
does any party have anything further they wish to add to this matter?
Brief response, Judge. Of course, Ms. Adelson has a right to counsel of her choice. I recognize that there
It
are
is not absolute.
Understood. I recognize that there are restrictions, but in the circumstance that's before us, then Mr. Adelson may not testify in this case. And that's a little bit of the frustrating part, is that This can be utilized as a tactic in some respects.
It doesn't mean he still can't lob a hand grenade in the direction of the trial.
Sure, understood. The
I feel bad for Alex Morris.
frustrating part, I guess, is that the defense
Trying to
doesn't
explain all
intend to
this, you
call
mean?
him. The state's
Yeah, he's gotta
acknowledged that
clean
it
up
would be in
Rashbaum's
rebuttal
mess.
if they were to call him. And I can't fathom why there would be a lot of direct or cross-examination, but
If this witness cannot be properly cross-examined, your client has lost the right to effective representation, and therefore, we have an issue relating to whether or not a new trial is merited. At the outset, it is foolish to charge forward under the circumstances.
It is.
I can
It's true,
examine
though.
your client if she's willing to waive the issue of the conflict and also waive the issue on appeal. That still does not per se resolve the matter. Do you wish for me to examine your client?
may I have just a moment, Judge?
Go ahead.
I would say no to that. So is he actually saying that it would waive her right to appeal on any subject for appeals or just appeal on this subject?
Well,
I'm
he's going
wondering.
to ask her a series of questions to see if she will waive it. In other words, that she's okay, that cross-examination might not be in her benefit, and in return, she gets to keep Rashbaum. So she has to answer to that. Okay?
Yeah.
And once she waives that, she can't use that on appeal later if
Right.
she gets found
That's what I mean.
guilty.
That's what I mean for that subject. Like, so what if she wants to do appeals on, let's say, one of the juries was,
I agree,
Alan
especially
Jackson.
about
Oh, that's a
especially-
good one, Alan Jackson.
no, Jose Baez, too.
Judge, yes, if the court wishes
Okay.
to inquire.
Please raise your right hand, Ms. Adelson. Do you
she's
swear
gonna
or
answer.
affirm the testimony you will give today will be the truth? You can lower your hand. I believe we've done this twice before, but given the circumstance and what has now arisen, it is prudent to do it once again. Do you understand that you have the right to conflict-free counsel? Meaning specifically as it relates to Mr. Rauschbaum or any other conflict that may be imputed to Mr. Morris or any other third party. Do you understand that your attorney has to be able to properly cross-examine your son if he is called as a witness? Yes. Do you understand how this conflict affects the cross-examination potentially or your overall defense strategy? Yes. Have you been able to speak with a conflict-free attorney in making the decision as to whether you wish to waive any conflict on this matter?
She looks confused.
Yeah.
Judge, the short answer is going to be no, beyond
Oh, yeah.
having spoken with me at the inception of my representation.
Would you like to speak with conflict-free counsel concerning this issue?
Yes, she should.
Very well. Before we finish the colloquy on this matter, then, we will go into recess. The defendant will have an opportunity
Okay,
to
so I'm going to
consult
stop
with
that right there.
conflict-free counsel.
And we're going to move right over to when they come back after she's already spoken to somebody. So they bring somebody in, and this is really interesting.
And so whoever they brought in, was it just like a county lawyer?
I think they must have had him. So STS, Surviving the Survivor. I love them, by the way. Shout out to you. One of my favorite channels. He went all the way over there. Joel, he's the guy who runs that podcast, and he went over there, and he's like literally in the lobby right outside the courtroom, and he set up his podcast and everything. It was awesome.
Wow.
So within minutes after that first hearing, he's like online talking to everybody, and I'm watching him, and then you see this guy in the blue suit appear out of the elevator. I'm like, well, that was fast. I was like, it had to have been planned. Right? Don't you guys agree with me?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it was like, all right, so I'm going to play this part too. Let's get through this one real quick.
Welcome.
She has had a chance to speak with me. She's in a position where she would not like to lose Mr. Rashbaum. She's willing to make any waivers that are necessary. She's not seeking a continuance, and she's fine with currently unprepared counsel conducting cross-examination of Mr. Adelson should he be called.
That's crazy. Did you
Well,
hear that?
Let's go ahead and finish
So-
the colloquy that we started.
Do I need to
Say that
play
again.
that again?
Say that again, yeah.
No, I'm going to play it again then. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Like, now I don't know where
So she
it is.
doesn't.
Hold on. Listen to this
Oh,
again.
there it is. There's.
All right, listen.
Welcome.
Listen again.
She has had a chance to speak with me.
Blows
She's
my
in
mind.
a position where she would not like to lose Mr. Rashbaum. She's willing to make any waivers that are necessary. She's not seeking a continuance, and she's fine with currently unprepared counsel conducting the cross-examination of Mr. Adelson should he be called.
Well, let's go ahead and finish the colloquy that we started earlier concerning
So
the waivers.
you're saying that she really just wants Rashbaum.
Right.
That's what she's
She
she's
was
willing
willing
to
to
give all
take-
that.
Yep. And she was willing to take her chances. But here's the thing. The final say comes from Judge Everett. Because if he thinks that she's a little old lady who's not being led correctly, he can overrule that and be like, no, I don't like this. So he does end up taking a break to think about it. But a lot of stuff happens on that break. Okay?
Okay.
Charlie is there. He's at the courthouse. Oh, yeah. He's there in another room.
Oh,
Like-
okay. I was gonna say I don't see him.
No, you're not going to see him. He's not in the room. He's in his own separate room being advised because on the next break, the appellate lawyer goes in there and with Rashbaum, and Rashbaum ends up coming back and telling the judge, and I'm going to play that next, that he tried to
What
get
the
him
results?
to try to sign the waiver. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip it. And here's the other thing. The guy in the blue suit, the third party attorney, would have been the one that would have been assigned to cross-examine him if he had agreed. Okay. And here's the thing. That's a conflict of interest too, because he's being paid. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you should have brought in a third party that has no money being paid to them other than just that one counsel. That's it. This guy would have a motive to be in the public eye of a high profile case.
Right.
So how his advice is to me is biased.
Well, who found this guy?
I guess Rashbaum and Alex Morris did.
Yeah. So how's that considered third party?
Well,
I mean, it is a third party,
it is
but
a
I
third
mean,
party that hasn't been working on the case. But okay. So I'm going to go right to the end, and then we're going to talk about it
okay.
as soon as it stops clocking. How y'all doing? You guys
Just
with
keep
me?
swimming. See, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys.
I'm almost scared to speak. Does anyone have anything to raise before we continue forward?
Yes, Judge. May I approach the lectern?
You may.
So, Judge, with the surprise issues of the last couple of days, I have asked for my prior client's waiver again, and with the change of circumstances, he has decided not to give it. So let me be clear. I have a waiver in the past. It's from December 12th, December 13th, and an independent lawyer spoke to him as well, although did not get a signature on the waiver. So we had a waiver. We thought we had a waiver. We didn't think there was an issue.
No.
But given the events of the last 2 days, I approached appellate counsel to get a new waiver. Thought that was the right thing to do, obviously, and the cleanest thing to do. And I am not able to obtain that waiver at this point. So as a result, I need to withdraw from the case.
Very well. Does the state wish to be heard concerning the withdrawal of counsel?
I don't think I have anything appropriate to say on the matter, Judge.
No, she's probably super happy.
If Your Honor,
Well
that's what
put.
we
I don't
need
think
to
so.
do. We would like to proceed, and I'd ask Your Honor to inquire whether we can proceed with second chair representing Ms. Adelson, but obviously we're ready for trial and there's a lot at stake.
Mr. Morris, are you prepared to move through this trial without Mr. Rauschbaum?
Judge, I did enough. I tried to think about all of the different potential rabbit trails, and the short answer is I do not believe that I am going to be able to be adequately prepared to proceed forward with the present calendar, primarily because of the division of labor in the case. I would move to continue for a brief period of time. That's also, in speaking with Mr. Ufferman, which is an issue that I'm going to request that we address, the objection by Mr. Adelson would still pertain to my cross-examination, and by extension, the third party would conduct cross-examination. In short, I need time to regroup.
Before we finish today, I will have the in-camera hearing review concerning whether you have been properly walled off. As to the withdrawal of lead counsel, I am going to permit it. The conflict issues are so severe, I believe, to move forward with the trial. Ms. Kappelman, Ms. Dugan would place us in a position where we would end up in a reversal.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and set a
They would
case
win on the
management
appeal.
date.
Yeah,
As to
no, we
all the
want to do it the
expense
right
that
way.
has been undertaken
So, I
with moving
believe it's-
witnesses and preparing for trial. The state certainly, as a part of any cost of prosecution, if you are successful, may seek those costs as it relates to today, as this continuance will be charged to the defendant.
You hear that? She's
Yes,
going to
so
have
As
to
to a
pay.
new date, when would the parties like to have a case management?
I wonder how much that
As
is.
soon as possible, Judge.
Tra- Transporting, okay, I'll stop right there. Transporting of like Charlie, security at the courthouse, witnesses that have already maybe been flown in. Okay, so you
Right.
were right when I talked to you on the phone the other day. The Markells were supposed to come over tonight or tomorrow, so I think that saved them a flight. But you know, guys, like after hearing all this, I feel so bad for the Markel family. I really do. This is like, they've been waiting so long for justice. They finally got here, and there's like a mental buildup, I think, when you, like, even for you and me. I mean, we're not even like, you
Right, I
know,
mean, part of it,
we're
but
not
we're-
even attorneys, and we're not the family, and just for
Yeah.
us, the mental build up, and it's like complete, like being completely deflated. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what just happened, right? And can you imagine what the Markells feel? You know, it's just
Well,
a bombshell.
Even the Adelsons, I'm sure Donna wants this to get going. You know what I mean? I'm sure, she believes that she's innocent. I'm sure she wants to get home.
Right.
But I definitely think that this should be tried correctly. I don't think they should,
Yeah.
I think it was a good move that he withdrew.
By the
and
way,
that the judge allowed it,
I know we have a pro Wendy on with us right now, and we have a pro Donna, somebody that thinks Donna is innocent. So
Well, so as of now, she is innocent until proven guilty.
she is innocent until proven guilty. Now, I'm going to be honest. One thing I will say is that I am totally cool with other people's opinions, and I think you have a right to say your opinion, and I will not attack you. Like somebody said, I'm afraid of being attacked. We don't attack here. But I'm going to be honest with you that I think she is guilty as all can be, especially Donna, and Wendy too. Like I know Jocelyn is kind of a little bit more pro Wendy, but you believe
I'm definitely
Donna.
more pro.
Right. You're
I'm more
definitely
pro Wendy, and honestly, with Donna, I'm gonna see what comes out. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna actually say yay or nay yet.
All right, so let's talk to some people here. How many people the Markells want in jail? Do they want Harvey, Wendy's grandparents, her cousins, and nephews? No, I think they just want who's responsible for killing their son. And it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, Mark, that you agree that hitmen were hired, okay? And that do you believe Charlie was guilty? Because now
No, he said he wasn't. I think he was the one who said that they got the jury got it wrong on Charlie. Wasn't that you that said it?
No, I thought somebody said Donna. Oh, come on, she's not. Well, I've seen a lot of the evidence because we've already had 4 trials to look at evidence. And yeah, we need to wait till we see what comes out in Donna's, but we kind of already saw a lot of what
I mean,
come out
I
for
think
Donna.
I thought it was a really great defense that Charlie put forward. There's just some things in his defense didn't line up for me, which makes me feel like the jury got it right. But I don't think Donna was as involved as they're making her seem. I don't think.
Oh my
I
God.
think I do think that she was involved in the sense of like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't think
No,
that
girl.
yeah, you think she
Well, first of all, I
don't
mean,
know.
the phone calls, the emails, the aggressiveness, the
Well,
the
but the
helicopter
aggressiveness,
mom thing
right?
she
The
had going on.
aggressiveness really came down to her wanting her daughter to have custody of the kids and come live down by her. You know what I mean? Like I think it's more she was just, fired up, and she wanted her daughter to get fired up about it,
Yeah. Well, just so you know,
But
one of the reasons why Charlie also did not want to waive his attorney-client privilege was because there is a piece of evidence that we know about now that the state is going to use, and it is an email between Charlie and Donna talking about another theory as to like Dan Markel being involved in drugs, and that's why he got killed.
before the accident, before the killing, or after
No,
the killing?
after the killing, and during the time that that Charlie states this was an extortion thing. So if it was an extortion thing, then why are you talking about, well, we could, something about Dan Markel being involved in drugs? Do you know what I'm saying? So
Right, yeah.
that, and that is something the state has to kind of rebut the whole extortion story that he's got. Like, apparently it's going to like sink them, this email.
Right.
And that could have been a big part of why he did not want to testify, because he knows these emails are going to come up, you know? So there's that. So yeah, I'm really disappointed in everybody in this case. I'm even a little disappointed in the judge because but I guess his hands are more tied than anybody, because she has a right to pick her counsel. But even Georgia Kappelman and Sarah Dugan, like
why didn't she fight it a little bit more?
like, why didn't this come up earlier? You know what I mean? And it's just,
Well, she did compromise and say, I'll just use them as a rebuttal.
right.
She said, because I think she originally wanted to put him on the stand, but then she's like, all right, well, how about if I just use him for a rebuttal?
Right. Yeah. So, Mark, tell us why you think Donna is innocent. I'm curious. So while hopefully he answers that question, but so I thought to myself today, could this be a ploy on everybody, like on Donna and even Charlie's, on their behalf to prolong the arrest of Wendy so that those kids could grow up a little bit more and reach the age of 18, and Wendy can be with those kids longer? I thought about that today.
Right. I definitely think that the whole not signing this paper, or they thought they had it signed in December, and now they're saying, oh, but, since all this came out 2 days ago, I thought I should send over a new paper. I definitely think it's a way for him to buy another couple months on his appeal.
Yeah. Okay. That too. But then I even thought that maybe this is like just trying to keep Wendy from getting arrested. I
don't know about that. I think if they're going to arrest Wendy, they can arrest. It doesn't matter. The statute of limitation is unlimited when it comes to murder, right? So it doesn't really matter. What are they waiting for? There's nothing for them to delay. If they're going to charge her, they're going to charge her now or later.
But in Wendy's interview on the day of the murder, she states Dan did not do drugs. Right, but it doesn't change the fact that they have a copy of an email with them talking about it, right?
Right.
Hi, Humorous 4. How are you? I like your name and the American flag. Yes. Guys, look real quick. She's just a mess here. Like, she's like really upset. She wanted Charlie to waive this.
Yeah,
she's
she did.
really upset.
Well, I think, like I said, I think she wants to move forward with her life. I think, obviously she thinks she's innocent, and she wants to. Now she has to stay in jail until they wait for the new trial date.
Right.
Now it's costing her more money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, here's another idea. Is this Charlie? I thought this was really interesting. Do you think Charlie being presented that right before lunch, one more time, sign this, and him saying no, was like a big F-you to his mother?
No, I don't think it has to do with his mother. I think it has to do with his own appeal.
It could be his own appeal, but you know what? Charlie has this pattern of always doing what his mother wants him to do, right? He's definitely a mama's boy. So here's the one time, and I don't want to say I'm proud of him because I think he's a murderer, but this was the first time he's like, no, I'm not doing I'm doing something for myself finally. Do you know what I'm saying? So in a way, I thought, you know what? there's some animosity going on between them two. I think there's something not right because she's crying, right? You can see her crying. There she is.
Well,
she's a
she's
mess.
just upset.
Yeah, she's a mess. And she wanted police brutality. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me get back to what he said here. All right, hold on. Stone Cold Mark says, before I get to it, talk about the abuse, brutality at the airport. By the way, Vietnam, you have to have a visa. So she would have had to come back. Yeah, but she bought a one-way ticket. And we know now that Charlie had a villa that he paid $150,000 for. And then Harvey.
In Vietnam.
Okay, about a year earlier, he made an investment. And the guy that owns the nightclub in Miami, what's that witness's name? I forgot his name. I don't have it in front of me right now. But I mentioned him on the witness list. He took the money and he was supposed to put it into this villa for Charlie. And sorry about my nose. I got a bad cold. Harvey, there's phone calls that are going to be played as part of evidence of Harvey trying to get $150,000. I want my son's money back. The money
because he never bought it.
Well, no, either he bought it and he's just living in it with because he has a Vietnamese girlfriend or wife or something. This club owner, he's over there in Vietnam. Or he just stole the money and never gave it back. So the guy got like $150,000, or wait, actually, you know what? It's $175,000. Yeah,
but so what if Harvey's calling to get the money back? What's so bad about that?
Well, it just proves that it just proves that there was a nest egg over in Vietnam for them to go to. Do you know what I'm saying? A place for her to stay,
right?
For them to live,
right?
Police brutality, abuse, brutality at the airport. I watched the video, Mark, of them arresting her, and they're just doing their job. They're not beating her or doing anything terrible to her. So I don't know what you mean by that.
I saw that too. And then I know that Donna kept on saying that she was allowed to have her phone. My lawyer told me I'm allowed to keep my phone. And I can't, that I don't have to hand it over. And the cops were adamant. I think she ended up handing, I'm not sure if she handed it over or not, but I think she did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Are you allowed to, do you have to
hand over your phone?
When you get arrested? That's interesting.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if you hand it over, can you still not give him permission to go through it? You know, isn't that like
you have to. If you're being arrested, I don't think you have. No, I think they can confiscate anything that's on you. Humorous Force says, I think Dan was Donna's lawyer, but they arrested Charlie first. And Dan discussed Donna and Harvey leaving the country when he was Charlie's lawyer. He could have been called as a witness. And yeah, now he can definitely be called as a witness for Donna because now he's not even on the case anymore. So he can testify as one of Donna's defense witnesses now, right?
No, because he still represents Charlie. As long as he doesn't interact with Charlie. I bet that was the whole reason why they kept the same lawyer.
Attorneys on STS today saying that he could be a witness. Said they want their money. Charlie was like, what the F? I'm not paying that money. I didn't want him killed. Wait, what?
Said they want their money. Charlie was like, what the F? I'm not paying that money. I didn't want him killed. Catherine says, if you don't pay them, they'll kill. Oh yeah, that was his defense.
So Mark, you think even Charlie is innocent, correct?
Yeah, that's what he believes that. And like I said, I thought the defense that they came up with was excellent. I thought it really lined up. But
I thought it was such BS. That's the biggest.
But I not really. It really does make sense. I think if you're going to come up with any defense, it's one of the best defense you can come up that really aligns with what happened. But the only thing that really made me feel like it wasn't so true was when.
Sorry, go ahead.
was when they did the bump, and his reaction during the bump didn't line up with his reaction to his said extortion with Katie.
Yeah, well, he said a lot of incriminating things in the call with Katie at Dolce Vita that only a guilty person would say. You know, plus he could never keep his mouth shut.
Right, that too. But what I'm saying is his actions during the bump were not the same as his extortion with Katie. Kathy.
Yeah, Katie.
Oh, I was right. Okay, Katie.
Well, Catherine Magbenois.
Yeah.
I finally learned how to say it. The other day they were like, it's Magbenois. Okay, so Rashbaum's career is probably over. I can't imagine
No.
that. Oh, I think it's probably over. This reputation's been ruined from this.
Why is it ruined?
Because he didn't take care of this. He let it get to this point. No one's going to hire him. At least not. Maybe he'll be a lawyer for somebody who gets tickets, but I don't think he's going to be a criminal lawyer anymore. I just don't. That's just my opinion.
He represented two people out of the same family. It doesn't mean he didn't do really well as a lawyer.
Charlie is not guilty. Wow. Y'all explained to me how they have a right to use the phone call. When Donna was talking to Charlie, the call was dropped and they kept recording. That's illegal. I don't know what the Florida laws are on that. But obviously, if they're able to use it, then, George is not going to, the judge isn't going to allow the call in if it's not allowed, in Florida. Right? Just honestly, Charlie's trial is just the overwhelming amount of evidence for me. Yeah, where are you guys from, by the way? Anybody know that?
Do you live in Florida or Georgia?
Do any of you guys, are you guys attorneys? Do you know the Adelsons? Do you know anybody that's related to the case at all? I'm just curious. So yeah,
I think they just follow it, honestly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, witnesses were ready. A lot of money was spent, and here we are today. And now she's going to be held liable for all those fees. And I'm sure she could probably even turn around and put some of the blame on Rashbaum for that, because he's representing her. He's supposed to know what he's doing, right?
Right.
So I don't think Alex Morris will stay on the case either, because he's younger and more green of an attorney, and I don't think that he's going to want to be associated with this anymore. So I don't think
the guy in the gray suit.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on the case
part
anymore.
of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Surprised he wouldn't want to be on it.
Yeah. Well, if he does, it's because he wants to be on a high-profile case, but I think he's probably scared to death to be on it at this point. But they were jail calls.
So they're admissible.
Right, that's correct. Especially before trial. All jail calls are public. He goes, but the call was over. So that doesn't matter. The bump should be illegal. Why would the bump be illegal? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a trap. Sure. But that's what the police do to get what they need, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys are debating back and forth. And as far as Wendy's concerned, I think she's going to get arrested pretty soon, before the end of the year. That's what I think. I think she will be arrested.
I will love to hear what they have on her.
I think they have a lot. Well, we were going to find out so much more. I mean, you've got all these witnesses that were going to come forward that we were really curious about. You've got Sarah Youssef. There was...
the ex-best friend, but all right, whatever.
Well, I thought that was going to be really interesting. Catherine McManus' brother, I thought was going to be really interesting.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there is information that came out. I don't remember exactly the wording, and I don't want to say it wrong, and I'm not an attorney, but that there is something that's going to come out in the trial that's going to show that Donna did contribute financially to the first two trials of Katie McManus, helping pay for it. And maybe that's what the brother is going to come forward and say, but now we have to wait till probably 2025 now for this trial to happen. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe because they were getting extorted. You know what I mean? So she can use the same thing.
They were not being extorted.
Do you think
Charlie is guilty? Do you actually are starting to think he's innocent, Jocelyn?
No.
Okay.
I do think he's guilty, but I just think that they put out a really good defense.
I think it was the worst defense ever. I think it was so bad, really horrible. Yeah.
What other defense you think could actually be legit?
The reason why it's so horrible is because he had such a terrible case and there was nothing else they could come up with. It was just so obvious that he.
But he's gonna say, of course, he's gonna say not guilty. So what defense do you think he's gonna come up with other than something like this? This is a phenomenal defense that he came up with.
Okay. Also, on the day of the murders, or the murder of Dan Markel, Donna her phone pinged at Charlie's house, and Catherine McBanwa says that night when she went over there, the money was damp that was stapled, that was handed to her, and that was because Charlie said that his mother washed the money. So there's that evidence is going to come in. I mean, it's just so many things that people
She probably didn't
don't
want
even.
her. She was probably like, I'm not going to put my fingerprints on this money. I should wash it.
That would be such a thing, like a little old lady would do, like soak the money in a sink full of soap and just sit there and wash it.
Like, I didn't wear gloves. What should I do now?
Yeah, but that's a lot of money to wash.
Yeah. I'm sure she has a big washing machine. It would fit.
You think she put it in? No, that would rip it up, I would think. I think she hand washed it.
No,
She washed
delicate cycle.
Look how long the jury took in Charlie's trial. They didn't even talk about it. It was like 3 hours, and they was at lunch for an hour, right?
Oh.
Y'all know Dan started all of this. Rashbaum, right? Not Dan Markel. I hope you're not saying that. Are you talking about Dan Markel? Because he's a victim here. He's dead, and he can't even defend himself. So I hope you're not mentioning him. That I'll get upset about. But anything else, I'm totally cool with you saying what you think. I just don't know where you're getting all this from. Funny way of money laundering, getting rid of prints and DNA. How old is she? 73? Only a 73-year-old grandmother would do something like that. Wash money.
Right.
Right.
Well,
And then,
I mean, like, it is kind of like ingenious in a sense. If you handled it and they really wanted to get fingerprints off of it. I mean, why not?
Guys,
it's not going to get ruined in the wash. How many times do we throw money and we leave our money in our pockets and it comes through the wash and through the dryer? You never know about the money left in your pants until it comes to the dryer.
And it's usually
right?
crumpled up, and it's like really not in good shape at all. So I think she hand washed it if she washed it and laid them out to dry. She's probably like doing money. It gives a whole new meaning to money laundering.
I would have died if she put it in the dryer. It came out crumpled, and she's like, "Let me iron it."
You take a steamer to it, and be like, "Yeah, that's pretty funny."
And it was all Charlie's fault for stapling this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Please don't trash Dan Markel. And why would you trash Dan Markel? If you're talking about Dan Markel, then I feel like you know him or something, and you just don't like him. He is...
Well, listen, I did not agree with Dan Markel being so, I mean, of course, Wendy's 50% of it, but they were terrible during the divorce with each other.
Yeah, but you didn't really know them. You don't really know what happened.
No.
You really don't.
But...
No.
And I'm saying it's just as much as Wendy's fault, but it sounded really bad. And listen, if lawyers said it and the judge was like, come on now, enough, I'm sure it was bad between them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So,
can't convince me different. Wendy got...
Well, if the judge says that, if the judge actually came out and said that they're constant, I'm not saying bickering, but they were filing junctures on each other all the time. It was just too much. Mm-hmm. And that's true.
Well, Dan Markel was brutally murdered by the Adelson family, and I believe at the very minimum, Wendy was the instigator. She riled up her mother. She knew her mother wanted those kids down in Miami, and she turned around and asked Charlie for help. And I also think Harvey knew all about it as well. They're not going to have enough evidence on him. That's what I think. And I just, I'll probably just be like watching the old trials over and over again while we wait, and hope to God that I'll see something I didn't see. But I mean, I've been watching them and I know them pretty well. Did he not file papers to keep Donna away from her grandchildren? Absolutely, because she was saying nasty things about their father to the kids, and you don't do that. You know what I mean?
Wait, what was that? Wait, did he not file papers? Yeah. No,
He did.
First of all, yeah. And what did she say? He's taking my sunshine away. She didn't say your father's an effing, blah, blah, blah.
She called him stupid. She called him names. She was calling him names.
Oh, sorry, stupid.
You don't do that. You don't do that. Who the heck are you?
You mean, how do you know he called him stupid? Because what he said was the kid said, well, Grandma said that you're taking her sunshine away.
And
that's what he said.
Grandma says you're stupid also.
Okay.
Listen,
I like to know how many in-laws talk about their in-laws, vice versa,
to a
parent in-laws
3 and 4-year-old. No, you don't do that. They're little kids and they
who-
love their mom and dad, and you don't.
That's true.
You don't turn them against.
You really think Donna said to her 3-year-old, "Your father's stupid"? I'm sure she said to her daughter Wendy and said, "Wendy, Dad is stupid," and the kids were sitting right there. I mean, I'm not saying that's right either, but there's no way that Donna said to the 3-year-old in their face, "Your father's stupid." There's no way.
He heard the kids say it. He was on like a FaceTime call with them. Why would the children just make that up? You're saying
what I'm saying. No. I believe that the children heard Donna say that I believe the children believe that that Donna said that they called him stupid, but I don't think Donna said to the kids' face, "Your father's stupid." I think the kids overheard Donna's talking about their father and that he is stupid.
No, it says it right in the motion that he's
because he wrote the motion. He wrote the motion. Of course, he's going to make it sound as bad as possible. He's not going to really want to try to find out and dig down to exactly what happens.
Well, I believe.
I mean, they
no
were
reason to make that up.
But there was every reason to confront them and speak to them like an adult. Like, my kid comes home and said that she said this. Is this true? Can you explain yourself? I mean, we don't even know if that happened. But regardless, they were throwing motions about each other over and over again, enough that even the judge was like, "This is too much." Mm-hmm. So I believe they were 50%. Both of them were just as bad with this divorce.
I don't think he was saying, "Oh, your mom is this or your mom is that." I don't think he was doing any of that. I don't think he was trying to turn the kids against Wendy.
Where's your proof? And
because there's no motion from her on that.
But Wendy never said that about Dan. It was Donna who said it.
Right, I understand that, and he filed a motion about it. And I'm choosing to believe his motions. When I've looked at them, they are to me more credible. Hers is just she just wants to relocate. And I also think she lied about the stuff she took. And I think she's got the Holocaust ring.
Stuff they took? Oh, she definitely has the Holocaust ring. Right. She doesn't deny it.
That's messed up. She should have returned it.
She probably took it for leverage and getting something to compromise on.
She took it originally before he gave her a hard time about paying her. So she took it
the day that she left the house and gave him divorce papers.
Right. She should have never taken it.
Well, I'm sure he gave it to her.
Doesn't matter. It's in the family. It should go back to his family.
Well, maybe she's
and we don't know if he gave it to her.
And maybe she's giving it to her son. You know what I mean?
Oh, please give me a break.
You don't know. You don't know that. You're assuming just as much as I'm assuming here.
All of a sudden, like the boys have this meaningful connection with the Markells. She took their darn name away.
No, I'm saying about in the future. Maybe
why? Because it's sentimental. Because it's part of Dad's side of the family. Well, if that's the case, why are you ripping their last name away from them?
Well, I'm just giving you an example. That could be the reason. I honestly think that she took it as leverage.
No.
You don't think she took it as leverage?
No, because there wasn't a problem. It wasn't that he wasn't paying her anything at that point. She was just leaving the house and she took everything.
She took half her stuff. She consulted a lawyer to find out what things she could bring, and she brought those exact items.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I'm sure the lawyer said you can't take anything. I'm sure the lawyer said you can't take things that are not given to you or gifts. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was a gift and she took it.
I don't know. There was a big discrepancy. Apparently, she really cleaned out that house. I mean, it really wasn't looking like a 50-50 situation when he walked in the door. It looked very bare, and she took a lot of things, like more than she should have.
Well, who's to say that she didn't bring all those furniture items? Maybe the lawyer said you can take any furniture item that you came into this household with.
Right.
Or that, you know what I mean? So maybe she had most of the furniture.
If you're so afraid of your husband, which she tried to say that she was afraid because he was like combative, right? That why would you do that? Why would you rile him up? You know you're leaving him, right? So you want to try to. Well, I get them all upset and like clean out the house so much like you did just
because
Because why?
She left that way because he is so combative in the way he speaks.
You don't know that?
That's exactly what she said, that she left because he was always confrontational in the sense of whenever they had an argument, he always had to win, and that she wanted to be able to leave when she, didn't want to have an argument about it. So she did it when he was specifically out of the state. Mm-hmm. So that's why she left that day, because he was away.
I think that neither one of us knows exactly for sure what really happened. And I think it's just more about gathering what we know, looking at the emotions, hearing what friends have said, all that other stuff, and then just deciding who you believe. And I just choose to believe that side. And, and I feel really passionate about it. Murdered by Catherine and 2 gang members, not the Adelsons. Catherine was Charlie's girlfriend. I mean, that would be the biggest coincidence, wouldn't it? The only way Wendy could have been involved is if she overheard the plan. It was for supervised visits. I'm just trying to catch up.
What was for supervised visits?
Well, I think that was from we were busy cackling and arguing, and I think I missed. Yeah.
He got mad because she took them to McDonald's.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
yeah,
she wasn't following
it's not part of the kosher.
Right.
It's not kosher.
She took in the McDonald's, which is messed up. She shouldn't have. You're right.
I mean, they're her kids too. Although, if she does agree with him for them to eat kosher, she really should abide by that. But it's okay to cheat once in a while. I'm sure that's how she looks at it. I agree that they heard her say it. She didn't say it to them. Dan was dirty. I'm telling you. Yeah,
that's exactly
what I'm saying.
Mark, how do you
because
know?
There's no way that Donna would look at her 3 and 4-year-old grandkids and say, "Your father's stupid." There's no way she would have done that. She said that in front of them.
Have you listened to her calls, the way she speaks? Have you listened
so
to all?
What?
Well, you can't sit here and say that.
That's more of a reason. That's more of a reason for her to say it to Wendy with the kids sitting right there.
No,
that makes more of a reason.
The kids were reporting back to him that Grandma says you're stupid. I don't know if he was in the room at that moment.
Exactly. Grandma probably was saying that about Dan, and I think the kids overheard it, or they were in the same room. I definitely think that Donna said it. I don't think that Donna said it to their face, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think he had every right to protect his relationship with his children. He shouldn't have to put up with that. The grandmother, bashing him. That's the only thing Wendy is guilty of. Is she running to get closer to the Mexican border? Oh, that's a good question. Now, is she in Austin? I heard something about her moving to Austin, Texas. And I don't know if she's there now. I think she is with family. I think she could. She's right near that border. But I think they're watching her.
Wait, where's her brother? Doesn't her brother live in Texas? Her older brother?
The older brother lives in New York. He's a upstate New York doctor.
Oh,
her
wow.
nose and throat, I think. I think she could easily go to, what'd you say?
We should go check him out.
I know. Well, you can look him up. He's online. You can see a picture of him online.
Yeah.
You must have personal bias against Wendy. Me personally, I don't. If you're saying it's me, I don't. I really listened to her. I really did listen to her testimony, and there were a couple times I wasn't so sure, but then I just started looking at everything. You know what it is? It's the totality of all the factors that come into play that makes me think she's guilty. It's not just one or a couple of them. It's just when you look at everything, you look at the timeline, I mean, it's just too coincidental. Jeff, her canceling the trip. I mean, it's just so many things that, the TV, I really do think it was code for the hit. I've watched her interrogation 3 times, and every time I watch it, it convinces me more and more of how guilty she is, Wendy.
You mean the first day interrogation?
Yeah.
The day of the murder?
I've watched it 3 times now, and each time I watch it, I'm like, I see things I didn't see the last time, and it's just so overwhelming to me how guilty she is. And then she did say in one of the trials that she turned down Trescott, and in another trial she said she went past Trescott. So her story has changed, and they're gonna bring that up. They're gonna show those inconsistencies, and but she
So
did.
one trial was with Catherine, and the other trial was with the gang members.
Okay,
those
so
two.
The first trial is Sigfredo and Catherine together, and he was found guilty, and she got a mistrial. Second trial is just Catherine McBanoa, and then the third trial is Charlie.
Right. So you're talking about the first two trials then?
So in the first two trials, on one of those, she said, I drove down Trescott. And in the interrogation, maybe it was the interrogation, on one of the, and I apologize, I'm not sure now. One of those, I know, and I've heard it with my own ears, that she says, I drove down Trescott. And then on other times, she says, I drove past it. So her story has changed on many different things. I mean, we could do a whole other episode on Wendy. That would be easy for me.
So I would have to go back to those two trials because I didn't see I didn't see Sigfredo's. Did I say that right?
Garcia. Sigfredo.
I didn't see that one. I did see just Kathy's though.
Okay, so she testifies on all of those,
so
and then you've got but somewhere she says, I drove down Trescott, which would have been impossible because it was blocked off, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was blocked off after X amount of time.
Yeah, it was blocked off like 2 houses before you get to him. So yeah, she could have pulled down Trescott. So do I have personal bias? No, I don't. I'm just looking at the evidence. So yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking at evidence too, and I don't think she is. You just look at it a different way than we look at it, you know?
Yep. All right, so that's it for today. That was a crazy day, and I'm really bummed out because, I was looking forward to the trial, and now we have to wait.
Oh, they didn't say a date, did they?
They're going to have a hearing. It's either October 11th or 15th.
Only a couple weeks? They're not giving it like 6 months or something?
Oh, no. No new trial at that
wow.
time. Hold on. I'll tell you the exact date. Hold on. So it is.
Barbara says, if Donna paid for the killer, then I think she would have said, quote, your father is stupid, end quote. Then I think she would say your father is stupid.
Oh, I missed all these. I'm sorry. Wendy canceled the trip because of her kids. Please do another episode on Wendy. There is a lot of misinformation out there. Well, I would love to do another one on her because I feel like I never got to really talk about her enough. Because I could talk about her until I'm blue in the face. I saw it today, the date. It's either October 11th or 15th. It's definitely the beginning of October. I'm not finding it here now. But it's coming up, and it's just a hearing to talk about.
Oh, by the way,
new representation.
Glenn writes, wrong. The TV was not code. I can prove it.
Oh, I'd love to hear your proof. How can
Wendy
you prove
canceled the trip because of her kids.
Maybe you know.
Honestly, I don't think TV was code either. I mean, we've had that discussion over and over again.
I do. I think it's code. Yeah. So Lynn, we should have
what?
like a brawl episode. Like you make, get all what you think your proof is, and I'll get my proof together, and we'll brawl each other on it. The 15th. Thank you.
Please do episodes on Wendy. October 15th. Oh, it's only 2 weeks. Oh no.
Yeah, but not till trial, honey. Just a hearing to talk about what the next step is, and then they're probably not going to schedule until like 2025. So no, it's not.
Okay, so it is going to be a year.
So we're going to do Sarah Boone's suitcase. We'll follow that. The suitcase killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
on her 9th lawyer, right?
Yep. Yeah. I haven't. Let's see if there's anything on her. I haven't looked. Sarah Boone.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys following Sarah Boone? Because she's an interesting character.
She's the one who was playing hide and seek with her fiance boyfriend, and left, and supposedly he was hiding in the suitcase, and so she left him there, even though he was calling for her to get him out. Mm-hmm. And you can hear on the video that she's drinking or that she's drunk, and she just goes upstairs and goes to bed. She thought that he could still breathe, and she wakes up to him dead in the suitcase.
Oh, wait a minute. Courtney Clenny. I know Courtney Clenny. Is that the girl with the she was like really pretty girl. She was like a what is it? What is that fans account? Did she have like a fans account? OnlyFans account? I think Courtney Clenny. Yeah, she was like a really pretty girl, and then she ended up killing her boyfriend or something like that.
Her too.
Yep. And then we're gonna cover also that little girl, the 15-year-old just shot her mother. There's that one, and then we have to do Kohberger, Brian Kohberger.
It's Kohberger. Oh yeah, that's an intense case.
So we're back. So the reason why we're on tonight is because we normally go on Monday, but I'm sick with a cold, so I am so sorry about my sniffly nose. But we always go on Mondays and Thursdays, so we'll be back on Thursday night. You want to do Kohberger case?
Wait, when? Thursday? What's today?
Today.
Tuesday? No, that's gonna be it's so long, that one.
I know. Why can't we do Thursday night?
Yeah, I guess we can. I'm just saying it's a lot to do.
Part one. We'll do part one. We don't have to do
Okay.
Part one. Corey Richens. Let me see who that is. Is that how you're spelling it? Richens. I see it. Corey Richens. Utah mother accused of fatally poisoning her husband to stand trial. Nice. Real nice.
Wait, what? It's Carly Gregg trial that you were talking about.
Yeah, Carly Gregg. That's pretty horrible. Utah mother of 3 published a children's book about grief after her husband's death and was later accused of fatally poisoning him. She's standing trial. A judge ruled. Let's see. When is the trial?
So she writes a kid's book and then kills her husband?
Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea. You know who else we never covered? Ruby Franke from Utah. She is the mother that was like, she had like YouTube account. She's a Mormon. Her family was a Mormon, and she like was really like, she gave off this facade and was on like YouTube like every single day, or Instagram, and talking about what a wonderful mother she is and all this. And behind closed doors, they were living in like living hell. Wow. And she got like this life coach friend of hers, a female, and one of the kids ended up like locked up in a room at this life coach's house, like without food and water and all this stuff. And the kid, like, it's crazy. Ruby Franke, look her up.
Did she go through trial already?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, so she's waiting trial?
I think so. Ruby Franke. Let me see. Ruby Franke. Yeah, she was abusing her own kids.
Oh yeah, we did Karen Reed twice already.
That's go check out our Karen Reed episode, and we're gonna definitely do a part. We're gonna do another part on her.
Yeah, as soon as it comes out, because they put in for appeal too.
Yeah. So these are really great ideas. Thank you. But we will be back Thursday night.
Okay, so we're gonna definitely
do Kohberger Thursday night. Join us, guys. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we'll be doing Wendy again because I won't be able to let that one lie. Yes, don't worry. We will do Wendy. I promise. Frankie did a plea deal. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, smart of her to do that because there was a lot of damning evidence on her. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining Moms for Justice. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button.
And like us too.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.